Lesson 2.2 is all about solving two-step equations, so we are on page 122. If you are not there in your book, please pause the video and open up your book to that page. All right, so we're going to look at two-step equations. Two-step equations means you're going to perform two steps. So to solve two-step equations, undo each operation in reverse order. Okay, undo each operation means that we are going to perform the opposite operation in order to solve and get the variable by itself. So let's start off with 2x plus 3 equals 7. Okay, so I'm trying to get x by itself. I need to figure out what x equals. So in order to do that, I need to get rid of the 2 and the 3. We're going to look at the 3 first. So this says a positive 3. Remember, we're going to undo each operation, meaning the opposite of a positive 3 is a negative 3. And equations are just like balancing a scale. Whatever you have to do to one side, you have to do it to the other. So we're going to subtract 3 from both sides. Remember, we're doing the opposite of this operation. We're going to subtract 3 from both sides to keep it balanced. So we're going to bring down the 2x and combine what's left. So a positive 3 and a negative 3 cancel each other out and equal 0. We're not going to bring 0 down, we're just going, these just disappear. We're going to bring the equal sign down, and then we're going to combine these. We have a positive 7 and a negative 3, so 7 take away 3 is 4. And now 2 next to x means multiply. Remember, we're going to do the opposite operation. So the opposite of multiplying is dividing. We're going to divide both sides by 2 now. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. So all I have left is 1x, and that's how I write it. And then 4 divided by 2 equals 2. So 2 is our final answer. All right, let's take a look at another one. How about 5 plus 2n equals a negative 1? Okay, so here's my equal sign. Here's my two sides of my equation. I'm trying to get n by itself, so I'm going to start off with the 5. Now this is a positive 5, so the opposite of a positive 5 is a negative 5. We're going to subtract 5 from both sides. So 5 take away 5 is 0. These cancel each other out. And I have this positive 2n left, so I can just bring down 2n equals. Now remember, I'm combining what's left. So since these are both negatives, I'm going to add and use the same sign. A negative 1 plus a negative 5 equals negative 6. And now this next to this means multiply, so again I'm going to perform the opposite operation. I'm going to divide both sides by 2. And 2 divided by 2 is 1, and I just have 1n left. And the negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. So negative 3 is my final answer. Okay, let's look at a couple with some fractions involved. So how about, let's try 25 equals 1/4 n minus 3. All right, so again, I'm going to start on this side first because I want to get n by itself. But before I can get rid of the 1/4, I have to start here at this negative 3. So I'm performing the opposite operation. The opposite of a negative 3 is a positive 3. So I'm going to add 3 to both sides. So these opposites, when I combine them, they cancel each other out. And all I have left on this side is a 1/4 n. Bring down my equal sign, and let's combine this side. 25 plus 3 is 28. And now, this looks like the equations that we were solving in lesson 2.1. I have a fraction next to a variable. So in order to get rid of this fraction, I'm going to flip it and multiply both sides by it. So the reciprocal of 1/4 is multiplying by 4 over 1. Multiply this side by 4 over 1. And now these cancel each other out. So all I have left is n on this side. And now I'm just going to multiply straight across because I cannot reduce diagonally. So I'm really multiplying 28 times 4. So 28 times 4 is 112. So 112 is my final answer for that one. And let's take a look at one more. All right, how about, let's this time try -1 equals 1/2 a plus 9. All right, so again, I'm going to start on this right side because here's my variable. In order to get a by itself, I'm going to first start with this 9. So the opposite of adding 9, a positive 9, would be a negative 9. Again, whatever I do to one side of my equation, I have to do to the other to keep it balanced. So these 9's cancel each other out because they're opposites. When you add opposites, you get 0. So bring down your half a and your equal sign. And now combine this side. Because my signs are the same, I'm going to add and use the same sign. So -1 plus -9 is -10. And again, I'm left with a fraction next to my variable. So whenever I have this left, in order to get rid of a fraction next to a variable, you're going to flip your fraction and multiply. So the reciprocal of 1/2 is multiplying by 2/1. So I'm going to multiply this side by 2/1. So these 2's cancel each other out when I reduce diagonally, and all I have left is my a. And now I'm going to make that a fraction, and I cannot reduce diagonally anymore here, so I'm just going to multiply straight across. So I have 2 times -10, which would be -20/1, which is just -20. Okay, we have time for one more, so let's take a look at 6. Let me move this up. 6 minus 3x equals 21. All right, so let's first start on this left side because my variable's on the left side. So before I can get rid of this -3, I need to concentrate on this 6. This is a positive 6. This minus sign goes with this -3. So this is a -3x, this is a positive 6. So the opposite of a positive 6 is a -6. I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. So 6 take away 6 is 0. These opposites cancel each other out. What I have left on this side is a -3x. So I bring that down, and now let's combine these. This is a positive 21 and a -6, so 21 take away 6 would be 15. And now my last step, I have -3 next to x, which means multiply, but again I'm going to perform the opposite operation. So instead of multiplying, I'm going to divide both sides by -3. So -3 divided by itself is 1, and that's all I have left is 1x. And then 15 divided by -3 would be -5. All right, we will practice more tomorrow.